Buying a home? Don't panic. Just listen to the rest of this podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Home Inspection Authority's Straight Talk Podcast with me, John LaForme. I'm a CREA certified home inspector from Los Angeles, California, and the topics we discuss on this podcast are about buying homes, selling homes, inspecting homes. So if you're a home inspector, home buyer, real estate professional, this podcast is definitely for you. Okay, everybody, John here. I want to apologize for the big gap between this episode and my last episode, which was episode 34 with Stacy Franklin. Something major happened where I couldn't record, I couldn't focus, I couldn't do anything else because I wound up moving. And it was a good move. It wasn't a move from one apartment to the next. It was actually a move from a townhome I was renting to an actual home that I bought. So you're probably thinking, man, you're crazy. What are you doing buying a house right now? Isn't it expensive? Isn't the interest rates going through the roof? Yeah, you're right on many of those assumptions. But I don't know what it was, but something, my internal timer said, it's time to buy. And I noticed a little bit of a slowdown. And I noticed homes were staying on the market a bit longer. And then I started to kind of more actively look at some properties in the neighborhood that I've been dying to get into. And lo and behold, I found one. I was definitely priced out of my affordability range, but I kept watching it, and I noticed it came down a bit. So now I'm really interested. Okay, this thing's been sitting. I mean, it looks great on the outside, really well maintained. I wasn't sure at first if it was just painted over everything just to get it sold. I couldn't quite determine that just from driving by, but after about a week of watching this, I contacted the one and only Kevin Brennan from the local real estate agency in Atwater Village. So big shout out to Kevin, because honestly, I knew if somebody could get this deal done for me, it was going to be him. So if you're looking for a realtor, give Kevin a call. I deal with a lot of great realtors, and it was a really hard decision on who to choose because I know so many, but I was recently in touch with Kevin, and he put me in touch with a lender, and he made it happen. So, and the lender is Hillhurst Mortgage. I dealt with many people over there, and I want to thank everybody there at Hillhurst Mortgage because, yeah, without them and without Kevin's experience and how to deal with these things and get these deals done, I don't know if I'd be sitting here right now. I'm actually sitting here in my new podcast room, which, if it sounds a little echoey, is because it is, because I haven't set up, some soundproofing yet. I literally just dusted off my interface, my Rode podcaster interface, and my microphones, and my desk is a mess right now. It's a mess in here. Moving sucks. I did not enjoy the move, but I'm ecstatic that I'm here. I still wake up I've been here about 30 days now. I wake up in the morning and just look up at the ceiling going, holy shit, that's my ceiling. Wow. So I'm really excited about all this. So today's episode is going to be about my home inspection, because I actually inspected my own house. So in case you are ever wondering, well, do home inspectors actually inspect their own houses, or do they hire somebody else for a second opinion? Well, no. I did it myself. I did it on a Sunday. So I don't typically work on Sundays unless it's a really good customer. So I got to give myself a little pat in the back because I am a good customer. So I did it on a Sunday, and I kind of want to go through it. I went through all the same steps that I do for a paying customer. Everything gets scheduled, everything's organized, everything's pre-planned, as far as the appointments and who's involved, my realtor. So basically, I'm the client and I'm the inspector, but I go through the same exact steps, and that's what I want to really emphasize on is I don't do anything different on my house that I would on your house. I still look at the roofing, I still look at the foundation, I still look at the plumbing, I still look at the HVAC, the electrical, room to room, light switches, receptacles, all the windows and doors, and getting in the attic. I'm doing everything. So I'm pretty sure I spent 2.5, 3 hours on this, which is my typical standard length of time on any other house anyway. So I definitely feel that I wanted to share this with everybody so everybody understood that, hey, I go through the same motions I do with you if I inspected your house. So the house is approximately 1,400 square feet, and the lot size about 6,700 square feet. And let's go ahead and start with the exteriors. I'll kind of give an overview of what the exteriors were like. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, the exterior looks really like move-in ready. I mean, it looks like pull in the driveway. Oh, by the way, I now have my own driveway. I never knew or never expected to miss having a driveway as much as I did when I was renting. Wow, what a game changer. I can literally put four cars in my driveway from the garage all the way out to the street. So that's pretty cool. So as a guy, I have vehicles, and if you're a car guy, well, then you know how important it is to have a driveway. So you all know who I'm talking about. And the driveway is really old. It's an old concrete. It's probably been patched and redone in a few areas, but it's totally usable. I mean, it doesn't look very pretty, but who cares? It's just a driveway. You can always, put a coating over it or just redo it later. Maybe put some pavers down or something like that, but not worried about that. And it has a big front lawn. House definitely has a big front lawn, which I don't really care to have, to be honest with you. It's just grass. I've never been a big fan of grass. I think it's a waste of water. And with these California droughts and all this nonsense about conserving water, I just assume get rid of it. So I'm probably the first thing I did when I moved in is I turned off the irrigation system. So I'm not giving any water to that lawn because I'm hoping it'll just die. Then I can just slowly start digging it up, just pull all the grass up, throw it away, and then do a drought-tolerant landscape. Just have a couple small bushes out there with some nice grading and make it look nice, and forget about it. That's it. I don't want to have grass to take care of. That's just more work. Cutting grass, and by the way, I did have to cut the grass recently, so that's another thing that my body went into shock over because I was just like, what am I doing? I'm cutting my own lawn again. It's been a long time since I've done that. But the seller actually left me a lawnmower, so it made it easy. And it even left gas in it. So I was just like, boom, fired that thing up, a couple pulls on that little Briggs & Stratton motor, and damn, it just fired right up. And I literally cut the front and the back grass in less than let's say 30 minutes. So it wasn't that bad. So the grass is going to go. That's out. As far as the rest of the exterior, everything looks painted. So it looks freshly painted. And I jumped up on the roof, and the roof from the ground looked okay. So I got up there on my ladder and started walking the roof. And I got to be honest with you, I mean, the roof was in great condition. It's an old roof too. So this is an interesting topic right here because this is a 20-year-old roof according to the seller. So the seller has disclosed this thing's 20 years old. And I'm like, that's probably not going to be good. So let me get up there and take a look at it, make sure there's no problems. I didn't see any damaged shingles. Of course, they're old and they're I'm not going to say brittle, but they're just kind of, you can tell they've been there for a long time. But they're sealed up really well. The valleys look good. The ridge cap looks good. I didn't see any problems with the roof. The only thing I saw with the roof that caught my eye was there was a couple abandoned penetrations coming through. It looked like there was a 90% furnace up in the attic at one point, and they had 2 PVC pipes coming through, one for the intake, one for the exhaust. So obviously they cut it from in the attic and they just capped it on top and left it there. So I'm going to remove those before the summer gets here and just repair the roof in those areas. As far as ventilation, not great on the roof. Definitely want to add, I'm going to add some, a few more roof vents, the O'Hagan low profile roof vents. And there's no soffit vents on this house, so I'm going to add those too. And that should take care of that. So I'm sure in the summer, it's getting pretty hot up in the attic. So I'm going to take care of that while it's still winter. So I think I bought at a really good time because I can take care of all this stuff before it gets really hot and it's miserable up there. So, okay, so it also has a detached garage, and the roof on the garage also looks good. So I don't have to do any roofing in the immediate future, which is great. The back of the house has what I refer to as a glorified sunroom addition, which was actually on record as part of the square footage of the house. So it's a flat roof back there. It's a low slope. I shouldn't say flat roof. It's a low slope roof technically. It does have a decent pitch on it for drainage, which is good. Overall, the torch down looks pretty good on there. I can see he had a patched area up there, but it looks okay. And we've had some heavy rain, and I've experienced no leaks. So that's great. That's really, really good. So that's about it with the roof itself. So overall, pretty good. I think eventually I'm going to add on some square footage to the house. I'm going to push out the front and probably push out the back. When I do all that, then I'll decide what to do with the roof. I'll probably go with a metal roof because I think that look on that, just the raised seam on there, looks really, really good. So I think I'm going to look into that and get that going after I finish my additions. And that could take a couple of years. That's not something I'm ready to do right away. I just want to move in and get comfortable and do all that stuff. So with the roof, I'm lucky. I don't have to do a replacement right now, which is fantastic. Now, I'll keep in mind when I agreed to buy this house, there was going to be no credits. There was going to be no repair this, repair that. That was not going to happen. I made that very clear up front that I wasn't after that. I just wanted to get into this neighborhood, get this house bought, and get moved in. So I knew that there wasn't going to be anything here on the house that I didn't know how to deal with. Why? Because I inspect this kind of house every other day, and I kind of predicted what I found. So I knew going into it, okay, I'm probably going to have some roof issues. I'm probably going to have some heating and cooling issues. Probably going to have some electrical and plumbing issues. I knew all that, so I wasn't surprised. With what I found, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't disappointed. Maybe just a little disappointment. I'm going to save that for the end of the podcast. There was one little thing that I wish wasn't there. And you'll understand when I bring that up. But let's get past the roof. House roof, garage roof looks good. No issues there. It's a composition shingle, by the way, if I didn't mention that. It is a composition, and in the back of the roof is a torch down. So, and there's also a patio off the back. Torch down roof. There's a small aluminum roof up back there, and that thing actually doesn't leak. I'm really surprised that didn't leak either. So as far as the flashings go, flashings, Like I mentioned, there's a couple abandoned ones there. I'm going to take care of those shortly, next couple weeks. And then I noticed there's some other flashings up that are kind of not seated properly. Definitely potential for a high wind event, high wind and rain could cause a leak getting underneath that flashing. So I'll fix that myself. Pretty easy stuff to do. And there's no kick out flashing where my smaller roofs meet the exterior walls. So I'm going to add those. And this house does not have rain gutters. And how many times have I told you people listening, you got to get some rain gutters. So I'm a man of my word. And if I'm telling you to do it, I'm going to do it. No doubt about it. So I am going to get rain gutters because I tell everyone else to get rain gutters. So as far as the stucco goes, the stucco overall is in really good condition. I can't recall seeing any cracks anywhere. And I'm not talking like they were patched. I don't see any cracks anywhere. Didn't see any settling. Didn't have any floor deflection at all in the house. Zero. No floor deflection whatsoever. And I noticed that when I was walking into the house, when I first started looking at it, when I was thinking of buying it. Walked right in. Everything was just felt really good under my feet. So it's always a good sign when you're looking at a house and you walk in and everything seems flat and everything's, feels normal. It's a good sign that underneath your house is probably going to be not very eventful because, your foundation's probably holding up well if your floors are all nice and even. And it does have hardwood floors. So you're going to get your typical hardwood floor squeak, which is very common with an older home like this. It was built in 1944, so I know the floors ain't from 1944, but they're holding up well, and no issues there. So back to the exterior, the back part of the house, the addition. I'm thinking this addition was done in the 80s. And let me tell you how I came up with that conclusion. So since I've been here, I've been doing some work on the house. But prior to moving in and buying it, prior to buying it and then moving in, this back part of the house, the addition, had vinyl siding on it. But the rest of the main house is all stucco. So I'm like, okay, any information on this? And there was no information online of when this is done. But the city does recognize the square footage as part of the square footage of the house. So that's all I cared about. So it is part of the square footage, which means it's part of the 1,400 square feet. So after I moved in, I decided, I'm going to make this back room my master bedroom. And after the first night of sleeping there, I was like, what the FUCK is going on here? I could lift my head, sit up in bed and feel air just circulating through the room. I'm like, and I didn't have an air conditioner on. So I'm like, what the hell? So this back room was just leaking air everywhere. It was just like I said, a glorified sunroom. And whoever built it put like 12-inch 3 by 12 wood siding on the inside for the inside walls. So I'm thinking there's probably no insulation behind that wood whatsoever. But I had to get underneath the stucco to really investigate. So I was like, all right. So after sleeping in the freezing cold for a couple of days, I just broke out the tools, the flat bars, the hammers, and I just started tearing off that vinyl siding. Because once I get it in my head that something's up, I gotta really investigate it and figure out what the hell is going on here. So that's what I did. I started ripping off the siding little by little each day. And then when I opened up the front wall, I saw that there was only like a 1/4-inch foam board between the vinyl siding and the exterior wood sheathing, which, by the way, the sheathing was actually planks too, partial. And then it had some sections that were actually plywoods, where obviously someone did some repairs at one point. So I'm like, okay, this is not good. There was no house wrap under there. There was nothing to really stop the air from getting through. So I'm just like, wow. Okay, so now what do I do? So now I just opened a can of worms. And now I got to figure out, all right, so what do I do first? Number one priority is making the house comfortable. So the only way to do it right, which is the only way I like to do stuff, is do it right the first time, is tear off all the vinyl siding, every inch of it, get rid of it, throw it in the dump, and then tackle what's going on inside the walls. And to my surprise, after I started opening up the walls from the outside, which was the easiest way to do it, there was insulation in the walls, but it just didn't go all the way down to the ground. So there's a major just airflow going underneath the wall, right under the baseboard, right into the room. Whew, man, that was pretty big gaps there too. So it was very obvious. So I was like, oh shit, I got to fix that. After opening the walls, I did find termite damage in there. So of course I cut that out and I replaced that wood. And I framed the bottom of the window properly like it should have been in the first place. And I insulated the hell out of it. So I did a whole bunch of insulation, and then put the planks back on and all the siding back on. And I just put spray foam everywhere. I filled every single gap I could find. It took a while. I knew if I didn't do it right the first time, I was wasting my time. So I just got in there and, like I said, spray foam the hell out of it. Put all the planks back on. I had to do some custom sheathing. I had to build it out a bit in some areas. And then after I did all that, I went out and bought some Tyvek house wrap. And I applied that all the way around, from top to bottom. And that seems to have helped quite a bit. Now, in the process of doing all that, I'm also replacing the windows. I had 5 windows when I started and a sliding door. By the time I finished, I had 1 big window and 1 sliding door. So I canceled out 2 of the smaller windows. I take it back, 3 of the smaller windows, and then the opening for 2 other windows, I just increased the size and made it 1 big sliding glass window. So after adding a double pane sliding door, because I had a single pane, and then adding 1 big double pane glass slider that had those old glass windows that they look like shutters, just to let the wind in, let the air in. No R value whatsoever. Just made the place freezing cold. So it was a combination of the walls not being sealed and the horrible windows they had in there. That's why it was so cold. So I replaced all that and then wrapped, the whole room with Tyvek house wrap. And I stopped right there and I went inside. I caulked up all the baseboards. I did everything I could do to keep the outside. And it's much better now. But I'm still not done. I just wanted to take a break from that. I don't want to keep on working on the house. I just wanted to live here for a while. So I got that to a manageable condition. And now I'm just enjoying it. Maybe this weekend I'll go pick up some 1/2-inch exterior siding foam, put that on, and then put some smart siding on and just finish it and just keep it there for now. Because believe it or not, all that work I just did is for nothing, because I'm going to be tearing down that back room probably in the next couple of years and putting in a proper master suite with a master bath and everything. So, but I had to make it livable for now. So that's why I did what I did. So that was the only problem I had with the property upon moving in, but I wasn't anticipating that. So I had to actually work on it and get it done to make living here much more comfortable. So moving on. So like I said, the exterior overall wasn't bad. I had a termite inspection done. I had David Olivas from Pyramid Pest come by and take a look, and he found minimal stuff. Of course, he couldn't see what was inside the wall that I found, but that's besides the point. I didn't need to tent it. It wasn't in any bad shape, so that was a good thing. I didn't have to tent it. I really didn't want to have to tent it. So then the garage is detached, which is great. But the garage isn't very deep. So once you put your car in, there's not a lot of room to move around in the front or the back or the side. So I'm eventually going to add on to that too. I'll probably add 10 feet to the back of the garage and maybe put an official podcast studio / guitar room in there. And so I can jam out when I want to jam out on my guitars. Just want to make a better place to have the podcast, so it's not inside the house, and have it out back. I think that would be much better in the long term, because I'm not stopping yet. I'm going to keep on doing this stuff, folks. Okay, so the garage vehicle door, let's talk about that. I noticed when I got here, when I first started looking at the property before I bought it, that the garage door didn't open all the way, and that was bugging the hell out of me. And I'm like, you had to kind of duck your head to walk in, because it was a 4-panel, I think it was a 5-panel door. It would only open to 4 panels, and 1 panel would be exposed. So I was like, that ain't going to work. So one of the first things I did the first day I got here was just got the screwdriver out and just get up there and adjusted that. I just need a little fine tuning to get it where it needed to be. And now it closes fine, opens fine. It's all good. So that was easy. There is no man door to the garage, so I'll be adding one of those too. There's only the vehicle door. It's the only way in. And opening that all the time is a pain in the ass. I'd rather just have a door right there, so I'm going to install one of those as soon as I get around to it. So let's talk about the attic. This is not a very high-pitched roof, so the attic is a little difficult to move around, but that's where the furnace is, so I had to get in there. I got up in there, and of course there's no service platform to crawl on. It's kind of scattered, and there's a ton of insulation up there, which is good, but it's installed really poorly, which means I'm going to have to just take it all out and redo it. But I want to do that anyway. This is the one thing I recommend anybody buying an old house does. Have your attic completely cleaned out, and then get up there, or if you can't do it yourself, hire someone that you can trust to get up there and really seal that attic up. Make sure there's no abandoned pipes coming through the wall, the ceilings, the ceiling from below. Make sure there's no big gaps in the walls so air can leak in and stuff. And make sure there's no dead rodents up there and, contaminated insulation. Just get rid of it all and just start fresh. So that's what I'm going to do. Before the summer gets here, I'm going to get up there. It's got to have a whole bunch of bat insulation. That's the thick, it's probably like an R19. And then it's got the old dark brown fiberglass. Actually, it might be wool. It might be a wool insulation. But anyway, I'm going to take all that out and just start fresh. It's going to take a lot of work to do that. So it's going to do a little bit each weekend until it gets done. And then get up there and then I'll get up there and re-insulate it. So at least that'll be over with and be done. I can put a nice service platform up there. I can make some storage areas up there while I'm doing all this. I could beef up the ceiling joists and then put some plywood down and have a place to store stuff as well. So there's a lot of benefits to cleaning out your attic, because you can give you ideas on how to improve it and then ventilate it properly and then add storage areas as well. So I didn't notice any damage in the attic. I didn't notice any damage to the framing. I didn't notice any possible termite damage. Like I mentioned, just a lot of badly installed insulation and just kind of messy. It's kind of in disarray up there. So I'm going to take care of all that. Now the furnace, here's the good news. I always tell people, hey, look, if you're buying a house and it's got a new furnace and it's got a new air conditioning system, those are the most expensive parts and they're already there. So if it's not working right, you just bring someone in to fine tune it. You're good to go. So what I got is a year-old Goodman furnace and a year-old Goodman condenser installed at the same time, and all the ducting was replaced. I don't see any evidence of any old asbestos duct anywhere, which is fantastic. So that is a plus, plus, plus right there. So I got a brand new HVAC system. Woohoo! Yes, good stuff there. And this is how happy I am about that. Exactly. So as far as the interior goes, we had our smoke detectors, carbon monoxide. Like I said, the main house is move-in ready. The amount of detail that went into the interiors is pretty cool. I was actually impressed, and so was my realtor, Kevin, about the seller's detail when he put new doors. There's all new interior doors, which is awesome. I'm so happy about that. All the doors in the inside are new. Raised panel. They look really nice. They got a nice design to them. They're not just flat doors. I can't stand those. The old doors. It's just a door. There's no character to it whatsoever. Those are the worst. But I see that a lot. So anyway, those are the benefits of the interior, which is fantastic. All the baseboards are updated. Everything's painted to match. It looks fantastic on the inside here. And windows. The seller upgraded all the windows. Yes. Except for the ones in the back room that I already mentioned. But the main house, all the windows are replaced. And after talking to the neighbors, I found out that he actually did them himself. And he did a fantastic job. I mean, I can open these windows with one finger, lift in the latch, push them up, and push them back down. So that's how a window's supposed to be. You shouldn't have to struggle to open your windows. If that's the case, then they're not set straight. They're jammed up, and that's why they're so hard to open. You should not have to deal with that. But anyway, that's a really positive thing. I got new windows, and I'm very excited about that because I'm running a central heating and cooling system. And I tell all my customers this on a daily basis. If you have a central cooling system, heating and cooling, and you get single pane windows that were probably 40 years old, you're just wasting your money running your heating and cooling. It's just going right out the window, literally. There's no R value in a single pane glass. So that's something I preach to everybody daily. If you have a central heating and cooling system, always upgrade your windows as soon as you can to get the most energy efficiency in your house. And the walls and ceilings here are plaster, which I like, but then sometimes I don't like. I like it because the ceiling has this slight design to it. You won't notice it right away, but if you look up at it and stare at it, you'll see how they got that little stucco design to it. It's got just the way they troweled it on. It's pretty cool, and I don't want to cut into it because I don't know if I can get someone here to replace it. So I'm a little concerned about that because I do want to put some LED lights in each room and the ceilings. I'm a little cautious with that right now. I'm not jumping on that. I haven't even hung up a picture on the wall because I don't know what to drill into the wall yet, so I don't damage it. So I don't want to damage this stucco walls. I kind of like them the way they are, all intact. So I'm holding off on that until I get some good advice from someone who deals with stucco on a regular basis and the best way to hang stuff and the best way to cut it where you don't damage it. Now, let's talk about the exterior doors. That's a whole different story. Great news on the windows. Fantastic news on the heating and cooling. But when it comes to the exterior doors, big time bad. Not good at all. The front door is just a raised panel door with absolutely no R value whatsoever. I mean, if I kicked one of the panels hard enough, I'd probably kick right through the door. So the seller did not upgrade the doors. That's the front door. There was literally a 1/2-inch gap under the front door. Air was just coming right in. Of course, the seller put a piece of cheap-ass rubber on the inside, but that really wasn't stopping the weather from coming in. So I actually was able to get a piece of a custom door bottom weather stripping from Home Depot think I paid like $20 for it, and it actually fit perfectly. And I no longer have that gap. So I sealed up the bottom of the door. I put some 3/8 foam weather stripping around the edges of the door where it hits the jamb, because there was no weather stripping whatsoever on that door. So I did all that. And then it made a big difference in that living room, because that's where that door is connected to. But on the back of the house where the kitchen is, there's a door there that's single pane glass, no weather stripping, and there's also a gap at the bottom of that door. So I have yet to find a minute to take that door off, take it outside, cut it down on the bottom, and then install a proper door weather stripping on the bottom. And then I can just put the foam around the edges. So I have to do that. I'm hoping maybe I can have time to do that tomorrow. But so anyway, exterior doors, no good at all. Windows are great. So I'm happy though, because there's way more windows than there is doors. There's only 2 doors, and there's got to be 10 windows on this house. Going back to the furnace, I almost forgot to mention the installation of the furnace is actually very good. The only thing I noticed it was missing was there wasn't enough insulation wrap around the ducting that connects to the furnace cabinet. There just wasn't enough on there. So whoever tried to do it kind of got a little lazy there and didn't finish it. So that's something I can easily do myself. No worries there. It does have a safety pan. It does have a safety switch, has a secondary drain line. The installs, to me, is very good. And there's actually a sediment trap on it, which I can't believe. So yay, I got me a sediment trap, my very own sediment trap. And as far as the air conditioning side of things, I have a 3-ton unit on a just under 1,500 square foot house. So I'd say it's a good sizing. I think that'd be fine. And after running it like I have been for the past 30 days, it seems to work good. So no complaints on the HVAC side of things. And like I mentioned, it's only a year old, so can't get much better than that. Now my bathroom, I only have 1 bathroom in this house. That's all it had. So I'm gonna add another one, and eventually I'll probably do all that work myself. So 1 bathroom, but it looks good. It's fine. Don't have to do anything to it. All I had to do today was replace the aerator on the sink, because it was starting to leak and spray water. That only cost $5. That was real easy. Replacing your aerator on your sink is probably the simplest thing you'll ever do, besides changing your air filter on your heating and cooling system. The kitchen looks good. The appliances, I expected them to be kind of older. I didn't expect brand new ones. So dishwasher is a Whirlpool, which is good, and it works really good. It's in really good condition. Microwaves, about 15 years old. It's a little beat up. Same with the oven. Typical, range with a built-in oven under it. Nothing fancy. But it does exhaust out of the house, which is good, because my last place didn't do that. So that's a plus right there. That's a common thing that most houses don't have, is exhaust venting going out through the roof for the kitchen. That's something you definitely want to have. All right, so let's get into some plumbing. So the house did not have a hose bib visible after the regulator. So at the time of the inspection, I was not able to test the water pressure. But by running the water, I could kind of tell it was pretty high. So I'm thinking, first thing I got to do when I get here is replace this regulator. And my instinct was correct. So I had to temporarily set up some washer dryer hookups in the master bedroom area until I could get a place to put the washer dryer stackable in the hallway. So once again, I just wanted to get the the house comfortable to live in, so we had everything we needed. So, and originally the washer and dryer was in the garage, and it was an old washer dryer that I did not even want to put my clothes in. It was so nasty. So one of the first things I did was put that out front of the street and had the city come pick it up. So, and I bought a LG wash tower. They had a great sale on those. The price was $2,700, and then I kept refreshing every day on my computer, waiting for it to drop. I was like, "Oh shit, am I going to have to wait till like Thanksgiving to get this thing purchased?" And then, bam, 2 days later, it dropped $1,000, $900. It was dropped $900. So I got it delivered the next day, 7 a.m. No joke. 7 a.m. I couldn't believe it. Lowe's delivered that to my house, and the total with tax and everything was like $2,100. So it would have been close to $3,000 had I bought it sooner, but I was able to save $900 on it. So that was a plus. And that thing works really good. It's all installed now. So when I had my plumber, which is Robert Dell Plumbing, who you all know I've mentioned 100 times in my podcast, and he's been on my podcast multiple times, I had him come by and do a bunch of these small things with the plumbing, because I don't always like to deal with plumbing, and I needed to get it done quick. And I had too much other stuff to do because I was still moving. So I didn't have a chance to replace the regulator myself or do small things. So when he came out, I had him do a whole bunch at once, and he really helped me out. So if you really need a plumber, a good plumber, an honest guy, call Robert Dell Plumbing. It's robertdellplumbing.com. Check him out. And sure enough, he used a certain tool he had in his van to check the water pressure when he was working on the plumbing. And it was 140 psi. Ouch! That's double what it should be. So we replaced that. Then he added the temporary. Well, I shouldn't say temporary. He actually had the plumb in, hard pipe, and everything else to get the wash and dryer hookups installed. So he actually did all that and took care of the water pressure regulator, put a ground rod in for me, connected all the pipes. So everything's good and grounded now as well. And so I definitely had a problem with the water pressure, which is one of the most common things I find on anybody else's house too. So I'm glad that was done, because I wouldn't have been able to sleep at night not knowing what the pressure was on that thing. So we resolved that pretty fast. I always suggest everybody listening, check your water pressure once a year on your house. Just go buy a cheap gauge, like a Rainbird water pressure gauge. Just screw it onto your hose bib. Just do that once a year, and you'll know if your regulator is good. You don't want that thing going past 75, because if it is, it's already starting to fail. Okay, so water supply pipe. Let's talk about that. My water supply pipe was type L copper. Yes, that's a good thing. However, there was still some galvanized still in place, but at least they used dielectric unions to connect the galvanized to the copper. So that was a good thing. So a very little amount of galvanized in place. Like I said, I only have one bathroom here. So it was just going up inside the shower wall, maybe 10 feet of pipe. That's about it. Maybe a little longer than that. So nothing to really worry about. And because I plan on doing some remodeling, I'll take care of that when I remodel it. I'm not going to waste my time doing that now. But yeah, type L copper. I got the better copper in there. Unfortunately, there are some non-standard fasteners that I found under the house, which means I got metal touching copper. So definitely going to take care of those pretty quick. And there's some PVC pipe under the house as well. White PVC in the water supply line, which was installed, I believe, to feed the lawn irrigation out back. Like I said, I already turned that off, so I'm going to get rid of that PVC. I don't want PVC pipe like that underneath my house. It's basically lawn irrigation pipe. So yeah, some of the hangers for the copper, they're just poorly done. So I'll fix all that. So overall, the plumbing wasn't bad. The only major problem I had was the water pressure regulator. And like I said, the amount of galvanized wasn't bad. Now, talking about the drain pipe, we do have cast iron, which is what I totally anticipated seeing. But when you have a house that's this small with a bathroom, a kitchen, now it has a laundry, it's really not a lot of plumbing. It's really not bad at all. So I didn't anticipate that they upgraded it at all. So I just kind of walked into this going, yeah, it's going to have cast iron. So what? As long as it's draining, I'm fine with that. There was no seismic shut off on the gas meter, so I had that added as well by Robert Dell Plumbing. And now let's talk about my water heater. Was it a tankless or a tank? That's the question. Well, bad news, it's a tank. But that's really not the bad news. The bad news is it's 12 years old already, so it's probably another year or two left, and I'll probably start having problems with it. So I'm probably going to have to pre-plan to replace that soon enough. But it is working. Everything works. I got hot water, no issues with that yet, but it has reached the end of its serviceable life expectancy. Now, the foundation. Let's talk about the foundation. My foundation is perfect. Nothing wrong with it. No issues whatsoever with the foundation. It's anchored. There's no cracks. There's, like I said earlier, there's no floor deflection in the house. There's no evidence of settling. It's in great shape. I crawled under the house, of course, and when I inspected everything, and it was a little messy under there, which is what I'm used to finding, which is what I expected anyway. So because of that, I just, I got under there, I dragged out the old cast iron. I'm sorry, there's some cast iron too. There was about a 5-foot section of old cast iron pipe that was left that was replaced underneath with a little bit of ABS because it obviously leaked somewhere. So I dragged that out, pulled that out of the crawl space, and I pulled out probably 30 feet of old galvanized water supply pipe that was left under there. So I cleaned the whole thing out just so when I get under there, I'm not bumping into this stuff and, cutting myself on it, stuff like that. So these are pretty standard things to find, and that's exactly what I found. There is no insulation under the house, and I'm going to install that myself. I think that's going to help with keeping the house a little warmer in the winter. Like I said, it is kind of cold in here because of the lack of insulation and stuff like that. So I'm going to get on top of that. There was a little bit of efflorescence present, which is just indication that there's no drainage around the property, which is to be expected at a house this age. And there's no gutters, like I mentioned. So yeah, those are things I can take care of over time. Now, I told you I'd save the best for last. You ready for this? Let's talk about the electrical. The electrical system. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I have a drum roll here, but that's the best I got. I got a snare drum. So the electrical panel is a Federal Pacific stab lock. Boo. That's something I was hoping wasn't here, but there definitely is one. It's a 100 amp panel. Yeah. And I've been here 30 days and no issues yet, but I've got to get this replaced. That's not something I'm going to do myself. I'm going to hire a licensed electrician for that because that's dangerous and I don't know how to do it. So I'm not an electrician. So I don't want to mess with it. And I have to have some other things done with it anyway, because this seller ran 2 separate 240 volts to the garage off of this thing, which is very questionable at best. I haven't had an electrician here to look at it yet. But there used to be an electric dryer in the garage, and he also installed this this light on the garage, like it's a big floodlight. And I believe the second line I saw is to connect that. So I haven't dug into it yet to confirm that, but that's what I'm thinking. What's going on here? So I want to have that removed because I don't need that. What I will do later is add a proper sub panel in the garage, because right now there's actually a small sub panel and its actual fuses. So I got a double whammy here. I got a Federal Pacific stab block panel and I got a fuse box in the garage. So electrical definitely could have been better. But if you compare that to everything else I've already explained, it's only one small fraction of the whole house. So it's an inconvenience and it's going to cost a little money to correct it, but it's still worth buying the house. Don't not buy a house because it has a stab block panel. That's just silly. You're making that poor decision if you do that. You can just get it replaced. That's all you got to do. Just get it replaced. Get a modern day breaker system in there and you're good to go. So that's about it on this home inspection report for my house. So like I said in the beginning, I go through everything the same way, whether it's for me, whether it's for you, whether it's for your parents, your brother-in-law, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you hire me, I'm going to go through it the same way every single time. And I'm going to give you a nice, easy to read home inspection report, very comprehensive report. And so if you're looking for a home inspection, you can email me, john@homeinspectionauthority.com, or you can give us a call at 800-950-8184. And that's about it for this episode. But once again, I want to give a big shout out to Kevin Brennan, a realtor in this transaction, made this happen. And I was about to give up on it because it got a little difficult. He just stayed the course. Said, John, I got this. And he got it. So thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate it. You're an awesome, awesome guy. I also want to thank again Hillhurst Mortgage and everyone there that helped me out. I talked to multiple people over there and everybody was on point and did their thing. And I also want to mention Doug Smaldino, who's the owner at Hillhurst, and he is going to make an appearance on my podcast soon. We talked about this already. Well, we've been so busy. Now that I'm almost set up here, I'm going to give him a call, see if he wants to come on the podcast, and we can chop it up, and he can explain to me how he got me this house. So anyway, I got financed. Woohoo! I'm here. I'm living here. I apologize if there's an echo in the microphone right now because I haven't had a chance to soundproof this room yet. I just wanted to get an episode out for you guys because I'm sure you're wondering what the hell happened to John. John's just too busy. So that's it for now. Thank you very much. Please check out my YouTube channel. A lot of great videos there. You'll see some of the podcast video versions there as well. And please like and subscribe. I'm just trying to build a family of followers. So if you can help me out with that, I really appreciate it. And also check out my TikTok, which is a Home Inspection Authority as well. And yeah, thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the podcast.